Hello everybody. Welcome to the channel if you are new, and welcome back if you are already a subscriber. In today's video, I'm going to be doing week 6 of Project Life for 2024. I'm fully aware we're in October. Real life is that I don't always get a lot of time to do my Project Life spreads or scrapbook. I typically try to do them when I have a little bit more of a weekend, or Jeff's got something going on, or we don't have anything going on, so that's very rare. But I got the chance to finish the second spread for this finally, so I was able to finally get this video together. Sometimes my spread is only one for the whole week, and in this case, if you guys have been hanging out for a while, like New Orleans trip took multiple, I think I broke it down into 3 or something like that. So this is the very tail end of New Orleans. And the second spread is going to basically be, I'm finally home. So that's kind of what we're going to cover. I'll talk about more of what's going on granularly once we kind of get through some product info. You're also going to notice that my nails are fake in this video or in this part. And then when I switch to the second spread, they are my real nails and just just rando nail polish. I think it's a taupe khaki color, whatever, irrelevant. But let's go ahead and get into some product. If you guys have any questions or I don't address a particular product that you want more info on, just let me know down in the comments. I'll answer you. I am complete crap at doing the descriptions, so that is not a good place to look yet. We'll get there one day, guys. We'll get there one day. But if you have a question, let me know, and I will answer you as quickly as possible. I am very good at answering comments. So that's the saving grace there. But first things first, let's go through cards. So that morning card and the evening card are both from Paisley Press. I think it's Lily Pad. I always want to say Leap Pad because I grew up in the generation that Leap Pad tablets and everything came out for kids. And I just remember my younger sister being at a good age for that. It was basically kid iPads, before iPads even existed. So, but I think it's lilypad.com, and the creator is Paisley Press. That is a wonderful place. If you're burnt out on mainstream brands, that's such a good place to go for independent artists, and really there are a ton of independent artists all over that site that you can print their amazing collections from. If you're just looking for something new. The Have a Good Day ... card is, I think, from Michaels. From about 1 million years ago. I think it was a card pack, and I got it, and I split it up, and I sent some in Happy Mail to my friend Taylor, and sent them in other kits for a while around that time frame. The Bonjour card is very old and from a Studio Calico stash. I've been hanging out with that card for a long time, and I just didn't really have an applicable place to put it. I thought for a while it would end up being in an Epcot spread, but I ended up getting some cards that were very specific to Epcot, so I just haven't popped it in there. It would totally go with, I think, my 2022 trip where I was actually Cinderella all throughout Epcot. I think that was that trip. So it really would have went with that, I think. The heart card is a citrus twist card. And then the one that's the today card that's blue is a printable from Paper Person. I used to subscribe to her kits, and so I have a ton of backlogged fun product. I really worked through a lot of stash, older items, and that's really been my theme this year. So if you haven't seen the video of my February kit, I think a bunch of them came from there. I think I obviously pulled one from other places, but I'm pretty sure the heart and the Bonjour cards came from that, because I built the kits knowing, okay, we've got love as a theme, but we've also got all of the New Orleans stuff as a theme. So just throwing that in there. I've really been enjoying making DIY kits for myself. So if you're looking for some advice on that, you can find that video over on my channel. And I'm going to continue making kits for each month as I get to them. So do not be surprised if we have an April kit in December, because that's just the way that we're doing this, guys. But we'll eventually get through all 12 months. We'll get there. We'll get there eventually. But then talking a little bit more about product, we've got the Citrus Twist hearts and the crepe paper hearts that I'm going to use later on in the video. I'm going to throw in my golden sparkle stars. I just use my Fiskars hole punch. You can pick those up through Amazon. I think Joann still has them, stuff like that. And then that little boy kind of circular piece was actually a Nellie and Clem printable, and she's no longer in business. She just closed her shop to devote more time to her crafting. And as someone who films and crafts, I can 100% say that like when you're trying to produce collections or content, like it can definitely get in the way, and it can be like a really interesting line to toe. Like you may love your hobby, but then you start filming it or putting some type of adjoining creation out into the world, and it can get a little bit crazy. So kudos for her for shutting it down, and like knowing where her boundary was. So always going to applaud people like doing what they need to do to keep their sanity these days. And then the word phrases are honestly all going to be very random. I keep I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of just like a zipper bag type of thing underneath my station where I work. And it has like a bunch of chipboard pieces in it. It has all my word phrase stickers, I think, are in there, or I'm constantly like, if I find a set of word phrase stickers, putting them in there so they're all in one place, because otherwise I will not see them and I will not use them. So that is half the problem, isn't it? So of course I had to throw in a couple dash borders, so you'll see those appear. I really like the ones that I put along the banners for the morning and evening, and I loved giving this card a little zhuzhing up with the dash border as well. So now let's talk about what's going on. So like I said, this page is going to be basically, I would say the whole first row and the second row are all the same day. The bottom row is the last day we were in New Orleans and the drive home. So starting off with the top and the middle are going to be February the 5th. So on this day, I woke up and the cat was literally in my face, which I know you can't see the cat because the light is shining down directly on it. But as I move things around, you'll see Roxy. So Roxy is Jeff's uncle's cat, and she's indoor-outdoor. And as a cat mom, I'm obviously missing my child back home, so it was really nice to kind of have Roxy there, like being just cute. So I talk a little bit about that. There she is, staying warm and cozy. Yeah, she was really loving the snuggling, and I think she could just feel like, oh, she's a cat mom, like I need to comfort her, and I can also get comfort from her. So that was really cool. And then the dog picture that you see is actually the Colonel, which is Jeff's other uncle. There are many uncles. Lee, his dog. And I just loved that he was called Colonel Fluffernutter. That just amused me. And he was very excited to have visitors. But we hung out at his Uncle Lee's house for a little while. We were staying at his Uncle Donnie's through the whole trip. But we looked at a bunch of old photos. And so I took a photo of Jeff and his brother as small kids in the bathtub, like completely covered in bubbles. And I just thought it was so cute, and both of their personalities just shining in that photo. So I wanted to include that. And then the food picture is actually where his uncle was cooking red beans, which I didn't know at the time. I got to learn like a bunch of history that day, not just about like their family, but red beans are cooked on Mondays. And it's because you would cook, there's lots of like lore and tradition around it, but historically women, mostly women, would use the ham bone from Sunday in the beans, and the beans would cook all day. So it wasn't a time consuming thing. You kind of just like put everything in there and you would stir it periodically. And I think there's also something to be said about how Monday was also like a wash day for women. So they would do all of the washing while the beans were on the stove. So it kind of allowed them to divide and conquer a little bit. So I didn't write any of that down. And I think that's one of like my bigger regrets about this spread, and something I'm going to be thinking about a little bit more moving forward with spreads, like kind of treating Project Life spreads. I want to include some of the things that I would have normally put maybe in a daily page in there. Cause I definitely started thinking about that after the fact. Like, yeah, I wish, I love that I topically told these stories of this is what this is and this is what's happening, but I didn't get as granular as I would have preferred. And then that evening, we actually went over to his aunt's house, and I had never met her before, but we had connected through like Instagram already. And everyone was saying how much I was going to love her and she was going to love me. We're just like apparently on that same frequency. And we went over to her house and had dinner, and her 2 kids came over, and I'd met one of them on a previous trip, but he had actually had a child of his own that he brought. And y'all, I can tell you, Jack's kid, Lyle, and I just now am going to always call him Lyle Baby Crocodile, because he's the sweetest, nicest, happiest. Let me just like emphasize, happy. This baby was so freaking unnaturally happy. Like the most beautiful blue eyes, like the most beautiful baby I've ever seen, and the happiest baby I've ever seen. And I have been around plenty. I have babysat plenty. I've had plenty of family members have them. This child is perfection, like must be protected at all costs. He is going to be spoiled rotten because he is currently the only grandchild and like only baby in the group that I know of at the moment. They seem to have them very far apart or one at a time, but completely adored and worth every penny of it. Then Catherine was just the sweetest, just like I really want to spend more time with her next trip and more time with Amy. Just like spending time around them, just, it wasn't enough. And I was so engaged in what was happening that I took no photos, which is a good and a bad thing. I'm so bummed that I don't have any pictures of Lyle. Because obviously I love including a lot of kids in my spread just to watch them grow. And that's something we talked about, you know, the other weekend when we had everyone at the house, was just like, you know, some of these kids I've known now since they were 1 or 2 or 3, and now they're like inching towards their preteen years. And it's just, it blows my mind. But it was lovely to spend time with them and see Amy's garden and spend time with Lyle. I think, too, I was a little bit more reserved because this was also the first time I was meeting them. And I was like, this is not the moment, ma'am. This is not the moment to be snapping photos all over the place. Whereas I've been around Donnie and Lee before. So I was just trying to be a little bit more, engaged and so situationally aware. That's what I'm looking for. And then the photo I'm working on now is the photo of the beignets before I wrecked them. I did take a before and after. I often, I'm sure like the rest of you guys, take before and after pictures, all too many pictures most of the time. And then you start building out your spreads and you're like, do I really need a picture of the before and after? We're short on space here. Let's just keep it moving. And then the very last photo is a photo of the tacos, the birria tacos that I got at this little Mexican restaurant, literally in the middle of nowhere. It's El Amigo Mexican Bar. Couldn't even tell you what city we were in. It was literally like hidden, but kind of right off the interstate in a way. And it was really good. It was really quiet. It was really calm. If memory serves, and again, you know, it's almost retroactive to the nth degree, but I feel like there was some like drama going on, and I don't 100%. Oh, I know what the drama was. Okay. So this drama is going to go on through like pretty much this day and into the next spread, a little bit as well. So Jeff and I came back a day early, and the idea was that we would come back a day early and caveat, get the houses ready, get ourselves ready, rest a little bit, and then go into the week. And that inevitably will go south. But what was kind of like happening before that even happened was I had like a small list of things that I wanted to do while we were there. And if I'm being redundant, I'm so sorry, because part of me feels like I might have talked about this in the other spreads about New Orleans and Mardi Gras and that whole trip. But one of the things that I was really like, okay, if I get to do nothing else, I should be able to make this one thing happen, which was getting my beignets at Cafe Du Monde and walking around the park. And it like halfway happened. So we get to Cafe Du Monde, and we actually met his uncle there. And I think Jeff was kind of hoping that he would bring him some of the red beans to take home. And I think that was the plan in his head. But that meant that, like, when we were done with beignets, rather than walking around the park, we just got in the car and we left. And I love City Park. I love walking around it. It's absolutely beautiful. So I was just like, I think that was like the moment where I was just like losing all sanity. And I was fragile. I was so fragile. And then we got to the Mexican restaurant and ate, and I feel like I was still kind of like in a funk about it. But the Mexican restaurant's good. So if you ever find yourself near this El Amigo Mexican restaurant in the middle of nowhere, again, I couldn't even tell you what state it's in, to be completely honest, but we stopped for food. I don't think we hit any traffic really until we hit the city. And I'm wondering too if we had like ulterior plans, like alternate plans, not ulterior, that's not the right word, alternate plans, because I ended up making spaghetti. And I think that was kind of an unplanned thing. Like, I think originally we were talking about like getting dinner somewhere, and then we pivoted to me cooking dinner somehow. So it's just a very long travel day. I think it's like 8 hours or so, maybe more, from New Orleans to Atlanta. So just very long-winded trip for sure. Very tiring, but that's kind of the end of that particular spread. I do think the second spread comes together much, much faster, and that is because I actually did the journaling beforehand, whereas in this video, I did it in real time and you got to see it. So let me know what your thoughts are on that. Do you guys like me to keep the journaling in there or do you guys just prefer to have it done beforehand or edit it out? It's really just a difference of, maybe I would say maybe anywhere between 15 minutes or more sometimes, because I know that when I edited down that video, that second spread came out way faster because I was doing the journaling. Another fun fact, interesting fact is I'm actually wearing the sweater that I'm wearing in the video today. So that's interesting. And then there will be another interesting fact when we get to the second spread, because this spread was filmed, I think, a whole month or so before the second one. That's just how rare of an opportunity I get. I know people have asked before, and I've said it in previous videos, it could take me a half hour, an hour, or an hour and a half to do a spread. It really just depends on how long it's been since the last one I've done, if I have a clear vision or not. And I usually just put a movie on in the background and let it go from the time I kind of start until the time I clean up. And then I'll just do another one if I have time permitting. Usually this is the time of the year that I'm going to get the most time because Jeff is typically hunting over the weekend. And that's when I usually try to do like the bigger, more time consuming projects. So there's that. Well, I am sprinkling on all the cute stars and all of those things. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and get into talking about some product, since I know this second spread is going to go much faster. So getting into the project or the product for spread 2, which you'll start seeing shortly. There's a today card, and I have no idea where it came from. I think it's like an old Hobby Lobby stash item. I had gotten several card kits from them back in the day, but I think that's what it's from. The utensils card is going... What? I'm just like looking at the screen. I was like, why is nothing happening? I probably could have edited something out. Okay, so that today card, have no idea where it came from. I'm going to guess Hobby Lobby. The utensils card is 100% Citrus Twist. The For the Record is a Paper Person printable. The home is the most, that was a very elaborate way to say home. The home is the most, what? Home is the nicest. Wow, not most. Home is the nicest word there is. I can speak. Is a very, 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 did I mention very old Mandy card. And I kind of like how that card turns out in the end with the extra dash border, which we'll get to. And then the Daily Life card, I am pretty certain that is an old Hobby Lobby card as well. that I broke up the pack of. Overall, again, this spread is going to come together really quick, so I'm going to kind of talk a little bit faster. But if you have a question that I don't answer something, again, feel free to answer. So I am super happy because I got to stash bash some of these Citrus Twist phrases. I feel like they've been hanging out in my bag for a long time where I look, and I'm a like power of 3. Clearly I'm rewatching or I'm watching Charmed right now, powering through that. But I like 3. It's my favorite number. So I always try to look at a sticker sheet or something and try to make sure that I replicate that item 3 times, like 1 on each bar, because I just like that symmetry. I feel like it helps the page flow. So I've been looking at this sheet for ages being like, hey, are there 3 pieces on here that I can use? And I finally got a chance. So I use the We Eat Good Food and then the AM and PM. I think I was looking at it and possibly going to use that like Carefree tab on the Binks photo, but I really liked the nap time sticker. I'm not a napper. I actually recently just took a nap though a couple weeks ago, but that was because I got stuck in 12 hours worth of traffic with all of the Milton evacuees. So that was really fun, and we'll talk about that in a whole different spread, I'm sure 6 months from now, or longer, could be longer, but I take lots of pictures of Binks napping, and so I just thought that was going to be a great way to pop that in. I feel like this spread is very poppy. Like, it has lots of like those bright little pops. I'm going to add some stars from like old Studio Calico kits that I really have been trying to like use product from these older, I'm talking like 10 years ago, kits that I got. These little swatch stickers were given to me by Taylor in some Happy Mail a million years ago, and I realized I could actually stamp onto them and use them as labels. So I thought that was a great idea. So I end up using some word phrase stickers from Week in the Life with Ali Edwards, and then I use some from Citrus Twist as well. The On My Plate is from Citrus Twist. I think everything else came from that stamp sheet that you saw me looking at a minute ago from Ali Edwards. All of the little pink stickers, the little nap time, you'll see me put some on other, let's see, the Treat Yourself on my heart-shaped pizza, and then the weekend one at the bottom. Those are all from Michael's Recollection Collection. I have them in pink and blue. They're ancient. I bought them on sale. I love them. And I actually have a label maker as well that does that same texture, but these are much smaller, which I really like. And then, of course, I'm going to throw gold stars all over it. Again, the Fiskars Punch, it's a great thing to have in your stash. I have a heart one as well, but I just don't tend to pull for that one as much. I think it's just following Inky Quill for as long as I have, I can't not put stars on everything. And I think Leilani is like that too. Like, clearly we were all influenced by that generation and we were all watching those videos. So I love putting the gold stars all over everything. But now I'm going to talk about what's going on. So here's the other funny thing. So that very first photo is a picture of this French dip sandwich that I got at a local restaurant closer to Jeff. And the restaurant's in Social Circle, and it's called Tin Plate. If you're ever in that area, I know some people travel roughly to that area because I think Vampire Diaries was in Covington. So a lot of people go there, but this restaurant's really, really good. So go here. And it was a really good sandwich, but Jeff and I actually had a date night there last night, and I was laughing about that I filmed this spread, but then had the same fries that night because the Gene Parmesan fries. It's like, if you know about it, you know about it kind of item, because it's not on the menu and they're so good. They're French fries that have like a garlic aioli and a ton of Parmesan on them. So A++. And then the heart-shaped pizza, and again, all these like funny things are happening. So we're in October now, and I cannot wait to get my jack-o'-lantern pizza. Like, it's such a kitschy thing to do, but I am a sucker for like those kitschy items. So of course I had to get heart-shaped pizza. And I was amused because normally I wouldn't have done that on a remote day because the Papa John's that I prefer, yes, I have a preferred Papa John's, is by my office. But I was like, nope, I'm going to order it and I'm going to drive there. And the funny part was that online I couldn't add extra sauce, but I called them and I was like, hey, it's me. Can you guys do extra? And he was like, oh, I knew when the order came in. He's like, of course I can put extra sauce because I always put extra sauce on my pizza. And we always order like as an office from this Papa John. So he knows my name. That was terrifying. I think they all know my name. But normally it was like the time of day that I would normally order. And he was just kind of flabbergasted when I walked in like sweats and no makeup and a hot mess versus put together like I would be at the office. So that was, again, all the funny things. But I did treat myself to the heart-shaped pizza, and I had picked up Binks the night before. So I was taking tons of photos of her. She was hanging very close, so that's why she's like up on the island while I work. And then she was very tired from being up close and wanted me to cuddle her. So I think even in some of the cuddle photos, like my leg is like just off to the side of where I'm taking the photo because she's just like, she will often nap with her back paws at bare minimum on me, like don't go anywhere. So I was just soaking up all the cuddle time. Then this whole last bar is actually Lunar New Year. So this would be, so we've kind of, I don't know, we haven't really skipped any days. Wednesday, even, yeah, I kind of have a photo for every single day, which is impressive because I know that doesn't happen in later spreads. There'll be big chunks of time where we're going to struggle through those spreads for sure. But Lunar New Year fell on a Saturday, and so I actually cooked this very fancy egg roll in a bowl, and I was massively disappointed in the fact that the steak marinade was awful. I did not like it. Jeff loved it. I hated it. And because that's such a like massive part of the meal, to me, it was just completely disgusting. The forbidden rice, which is that black blob you see, turned out beautiful. Again, I wasn't a fan. Exactly. I definitely liked it better than the steak. Jeff was not a fan of the black rice at all. And then the vegetables turned out really pretty as well. Let me tell you, this is one of those where food pictures can sometimes lie. It looks like it should taste amazing. Did not taste that great. I will tell you that the dragon fruit bowl is a returning favorite, and I write as much in my daily life card. Love that. You make oatmeal with coconut milk so that it has that pretty coconut flavor. You're going to chop up some apricots and pistachios and just sprinkle them on top. You're going to take the dragon fruit and scoop it out really, really, really good. You want to scoop it out really good. Then chop up the fruit, put a little bit of fruit on there, and then use the husk, for lack of better phrasing, as your bowl. And it's a really pretty, fairly easy thing to put together. So I took a picture of that, and then me writing in my daily page, Lunar New Year. I've got a picture of the egg roll in a bowl. And then the very last picture is of me making these hot fireside toddies. And I put fireside in quotations because I'm pretty sure we didn't do a fire. Maybe we did. Jeff was not a fan of the fireside toddies. I was. It was just a drink mix that I had from Williams-Sonoma. It was nice to try. Would I rebuy it? Probably not. Mainly because I had a falling out of sorts with Williams-Sonoma, and I'm just trying not to support them in any way anymore. That was the last straw. I've also worked for not Williams-Sonoma, but Williams-Sonoma brands. And yeah, no, just sour taste in my mouth, not from the drink, but yeah, they were okay. I definitely love me like a good cider or something like warm this time of year. So I will definitely be doing a lot of warmed wines, which I have recently fallen in love with. After finding one accidentally last year, I really didn't know that was a thing. I mean, I knew about mulled wine, but I also didn't understand warm wine. And now I'm kind of obsessed this time of year. So I encourage you, if you are a cider person, like a hot cider and like spiked cider person, definitely look into that in your area. I think even Walmart has one, not Walmart, Target has a witch's brew that I think you can warm up right now. So if you're that kind of person and you got that vibe, go for it. So that's a little bit of everything that's happening on the screen. I'm going to go through the slow flip now. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. Let me know if you still like these Project Life videos. I know it's a little bit different because I'm pretty planner heavy, but I love doing this and I love sharing them. So I'd like to continue doing that as long as you guys are enjoying them. But until next time, I hope you guys are having an amazing fall so far and actually getting one and it's not running away from you, and that you're enjoying your spooky season and creating your own little spooky wonderlands. And until next time, everybody take care. Happy fall, y'all. Bye.